Hi everyone. Today we are going to study about ancient questions related to. I will be studying about. I will be studying questions related to ancient Bihar Indian culture questions. Okay, so I will have questions and I will have answers. This will help in the for prelims exams. The topic is, as I said, ancient Bihar Indian cultures. So let's start. Question number one is related to Magadha Empire and dynasties. The topic is Magadha Empire and dynasties. Um, which It's a direct question format, is a direct factual. They do ask direct factual questions in the exams, so we will be looking at this kind of questions as well. Question is which please listen carefully. The question is, which ancient dynasty first established Pataliputra as the capital of Magadha? Answer is Haryanka dynasty. The explanation: the Haryanka dynasty 544 to 413 BCE was the first to establish significant power in Magadha. King Ajatasattu shifted the capital from Rajgriha to Pataliputra, modern Patna, around the 490 BCE due to its strategic location at the confluence of rivers. Confluence of rivers means intersection of rivers. This marked the beginning of Pataliputra's prominence as one of ancient India's greatest cities. So guys, remember, Pataliputra is one of ancient India's greatest cities. So the answer is Haryanka dynasty. Question number two. The question format is chronological sequence. So you have questions in answers given in chronological order. You have to arrange them, right? So arrange the following dynasties of ancient Bihar in chronological order. Dynasties given are Gupta dynasty, Maurya dynasty, Haryanka dynasty and Nanda dynasty. So let's say which one came first, right? The Haryanka dynasty is the oldest. The time period is 544 to 413 BCE. These were also called the early Magadha rulers, Haryanka dynasty. Okay. The second is Nanda dynasty from 345 to 321 BCE. They expanded Magadha's territory. The third one is, after the Nanda dynasty came the Maurya dynasty. Maurya dynasty, the time period is 321 to 185 BCE. It was founded by, all of you guys know that, right? Chandragupta Maurya. Next, after the Maurya dynasty came the Gupta dynasty from 320 to 550 CE. This is no longer BC, before Christ. This is after AD now. Okay. So Gupta dynasty is also known as, you guys know this, right? Gupta dynasty is also known as the golden age of India. This sequence, like Haryanka dynasty, Nanda dynasty, Maurya dynasty and Gupta dynasty, this sequence represents nearly 1000 years of Bihar's dominance in Indian history. Moving on to the next question. Next question format is assertion reasoning. So there is an assertion and there is a reasoning, right? So the question is, question number 3, assertion A, Magadha became the most powerful Mahajanapada in ancient India. That's the assertion. Now the reason is, Magadha had fertile land, mineral resources and strategic location. Now the reason, is the reason correct? Does it explain? Like, you have to try to analyze that. So the answer here is both A and B are, and both A and R. A is assertion and R is reason. Both assertion and reason are true, and R is the correct explanation of A. Now let's explain this. Magadha's rise in power was directly linked to its geographical advantage. That's very true. The fertile Gangetic plains, because of the river Ganga, the fertile Gangetic plains provided agricultural surplus, iron ore deposits, enabled superior weapons, and the strategic locations at river confluence facilitated trade and military campaigns. These factors enabled Magadha to dominate the 16 Mahajanapadas and eventually unify much of India under the Mauryas. Right? So that is very true. Magadha became the most powerful Mahajanapadas in ancient India, and Magadha had fertile land, mineral resources, and strategic location. This is the correct reasoning for the assertion. Let's move on to the next section, Buddhism and Jainism in Bihar. Now the question format is statement based. Question number 4 is, consider the following statement about Buddhism in Bihar. So there are 4 statements. One is Buddha attained enlightenment at Bodh Gaya in Bihar. Statement number 2, Buddha delivered his first sermon at Sarnath in Bihar. Point number 3, the first Buddhist council was held at Rajgriha in Bihar. Point number 4, Buddha attained Mahaparinivarna at Kushinagar in Bihar. So which statements are correct? Right? So answer is statement 1 and 3 are correct. So that is Buddha attained enlightenment at Bodh Gaya in Bihar. That's correct. Statement number 3 is the first Buddhist council was held at Rajgriha in Bihar. Those are the correct ones. Now I'm going to just explain the statements. So statement 1, it said Buddha attained enlightenment at Bodh Gaya in Bihar. Buddha attained enlightenment under the Bodhi tree. Right? Under the Bodhi tree he attained enlightenment at Bodh Gaya. Around the timeline is 528 BCE, before Christ. 528. Now statement 2 is Buddha delivered his first sermon at Sarnath in Bihar. That is incorrect, because Buddha's first sermon was at Sarnath, Uttar Pradesh, not Bihar. Alright, so you have to be very careful. Sarnath is correct, but it is not in Bihar. So they can mislead you, right? So they can trick you. So be very careful. Buddha's first sermon was at Sarnath, definitely, but it was not in Bihar, it was in Uttar Pradesh. Statement 3 is correct. Statement 3 is the first Buddhist council was held at Rajgir, shortly after Buddha's death, around 483 BCE. 483 BCE. Statement 4 is incorrect. Statement 4 is Buddha attained Mahaparinirvana at Kushinagar in Bihar. That is not correct. Buddha attained Mahaparinirvana at Kushinagar, Uttar Pradesh. Again, right? It's not Kushinagar is not in Bihar. It is in Uttar Pradesh. So guys, just be careful about the wordings. They can trick us. So we have to be careful, right? Next question is match the following question. Question number 5, match the religious figures with their birthplaces in Bihar. One is Gautama Buddha. Gautama Buddha was born in Lumbini. Was born in Lumbini, now Nepal, but historically connected to ancient Bihar region. uh, Mahavira, the 24th Tirthankara of Jainism. Mahavira is known as the 24th Tirthankara of Jainism, was born in Vaisali, Bihar around 599 BCE. 599 BCE, right? Next we have Guru Gobind Singh, the 10th Sikh Guru, was born in Patna, Bihar in 1666 CE. So that's 1666 CE. 10th Sikh Guru was born in Patna. Now that's why we have something called Patna Sahib. I think yes. Next is Adi Shankaracharya was born in Kaladi. Kaladi is in Kerala, not Bihar. Okay. So Adi Shankaracharya was born in Kerala. This question tests knowledge of Bihar's multi-religious heritage. So you should be aware of all this. These are simple, very simple looking questions. You should be aware of this. This will be helpful for your exams. Next, let's look at Nalanda and Vikramashila universities. That's the topic is Nalanda and Vikramashila universities. So questions can arise like, what was the primary reason for Nalanda University international reputation in ancient times? So Nalanda University had international reputation in ancient times. What was the primary reason? Now the primary reason was it had a comprehensive curriculum covering Buddhist and secular subjects with renowned scholars. Nalanda University flourished from 5th to the 12th century CE, gained international fame because it offered a holistic education system, right? It was not tilted towards any particular section of the community, but it offered a holistic education system. The curriculum included Buddhist philosophy. Buddhist philosophy is very important from exam perspective, right? And also in life, it's very, very important. Buddhist philosophy like the Mahayana, Hinayana and the Vajrayana. You need to know about this. And then we have the secular subjects like medicines. Medicines were also taught in the Nalanda University. Mathematics was taught, astronomy, logic, grammar, all of these was secular, all of these were a part of the curriculum, education system. Vedic studies and Hindu philosophy. International faculty, guys, Vedic studies and Hindu philosophy, I mean, now that Western education has taken over, I mean, Vedic philosophy and like Hindu like philosophy, where they are actually a very strong way of life. If understood very closely, they are very scientific as well. There are a lot of things that are directly related to science, and a lot of cultures and a lot of thoughts are put behind with a lot of precision and accuracy, and based on so many scientific basis, right? It's not just sometimes we just think of it as myth and all that, but we are just not aware of the deep source where those thoughts come from. Those are actually very powerful thoughts. So these were taught, the Vedic studies and philosophy were taught in the Nalanda University. International faculty including scholars like Nagarjuna, Aryabhata and Dharmakirti, right? They were scholars there. These are renowned names. Students from China, Korea, Japan, Tibet, Mongolia, Turkey and Sri Lanka traveled thousands of miles to study here. The university had over 10,000 students and 2,000 teachers at its peak, making it the world's first residential international university. Guys, this is amazing, right? This is really amazing that in the ancient times, right? In the ancient times, we had this kind of this. Now in the modern times we go to, like, big universities in the US and like in the UK and stuff like that, but it's just fascinating to know that students from all these countries like China, Korea, Japan, Tibet, Mongolia, Turkey, Sri Lanka, like around the most of Asia, traveled like this thousands of miles to study here. This university, they say this university had over 10,000 students. 10,000 students is not a, it's not a joke, right? It's a mega university, and with over 2,000 teachers, right? Crazy. Making it the world's first residential international university. Just keep in mind, yeah. Let's move on. Question number 7. Format is comparative analysis, right? Which of the following question is, which of the following distinguishes Vikramasila University from Nalanda University? Now here is a distinction. There is a question about, so you need to know about Vikramasila University. To answer this question, you need to know about Vikramasila University and Nalanda University. So the answer is, distinction is, Vikramasila was established later and specialized in Tantric Buddhism. Vikramasila was established later and specialized in Tantric Buddhism. Nalanda, had an holistic curriculum, right? Nalanda University 5th to the 12th century, and the Vikramasila University was later 8th to the 12th century CE, right? So it was established later by a Pala king. So let's have some pointers about the Vikramasila University and the Nalanda University. So Nalanda University, again, the timeline is 5th to the 12th century CE. Point 1 is established around 427 CE. By whom? Gupta Emperor Kumar Gupta I. Very important question. Nalanda University was established around this time, 427 CE, and established by Gupta Emperor, sorry about that, and established by the Gupta Emperor Kumaragupta I. Kumaragupta I established. Now, the university was focused on Mahayana Buddhism, and it had diverse subjects, very diverse subjects, right? It talked about maths, it talked about science, it talked about astronomy, and a lot of other stuffs, right? It talked about logic, grammar, medicine, etc. So it had a very vast, diverse subjects. Now, it had the famous library Dharma Ganja with 9 million manuscripts. 9 million manuscripts. Okay, please remember this. Famous library Dharma Ganja with 9 million manuscripts is related to the Nalanda University. Okay, can be a good question. Now let's look at some points for Vikramasila University, 8th to the 12th century CE. Mostly it was established by a mostly around 783 CE by a Pala king Dharmapala. Okay, Pala king Dharmapala, specialized in Tantric Buddhism and advanced Buddhist philosophy. So mostly this was not holistic university. It's mostly specialized in Tantric Buddhism and advanced Buddhist philosophy. Now, it had over 108 temples. It exactly had 108 temples and was known for its systematic approach to Tantra. So Tantra, Tantra mantra, that's what it is. It was taught there. Systematic approach. It had a systematic approach to Tantra. So really powerful though. Produced scholars like Atisha, who spread Buddhism to Tibet. Atisa is a scholar who was studied there, so and who spread Buddhism to Tibet. Both were destroyed during Bakhtiyar's Khilji invasion around 1193 to 1200 CE. Now these are the differences, but there is one commonality between the Nalanda University and the Vikramashila University, is that both were destroyed during Bakhtiyar's Khilji's invasion around 1193 to 1200 CE. So Bakhtiyar Khilji invaded and destroyed both of these universities. They burned the manuscript, they destroyed everything. Why? Big question, right? Why would someone want to destroy somebody else, something like a good thing? Out of jealousy, hatred? It's crazy, right? But yeah. So that is one common point. Both were destroyed during Bakhtiyar's Khilji invasion around 1193 to 1200 CE. Alright? So that should be clear. You should be able, if this question is asked in the exam, you should be able to answer easily, right? Don't worry, you should be able to remember these. Let's move on to the next question. Which of the following was not a subject, right? This is a negative question. Which of the following was not a subject taught at Nalanda University? So we just read about it. I think modern chemistry, it says. The answer is modern chemistry was not taught at the Nalanda University. So the answers are Ayurveda, medicine was taught, astronomy and mathematics was taught, then we have logic and philosophy was also taught, but modern chemistry was not taught. Nalanda's curriculum was comprehensive but limited to ancient knowledge systems. Taught subjects were, listen guys, this can be asked in question. Taught subjects were Buddhist philosophy, Vedas, Sanskrit grammar, logic, medicine, Ayurveda, astronomy, Jyotisha, mathematics, metaphysics, and even alchemy, ancient chemistry was taught. But modern chemistry was not taught. Modern chemistry as we know it today didn't exist in ancient times. The university's library called Dharma Gunj, also known as Mountain of Truth. Dharma Gunj had 3 buildings: Ratna Sagara, Ocean of Jewels, Ratna Sagara; Ratno Dadhi, Sea of Jewels, Ratno Dadhi, Ratna Sagar had 3 buildings. Remember this question, good question here. Had 3 buildings: Ratna Sagara, meaning Ocean of Jewels. The library had 3 buildings: Ratna Sagara, Ratno Dadhi, Sea of Jewels, and Ratna Ranjaka, Delighter of Jewels. So Ratna Sagara, Ratno Dadhi, and Ratna Ranjaka. These were the 3 building names. When destroyed, it reportedly burned for 3 months due to the vast collection of manuscripts. Guys, they say that when these libraries were burned, when these Nalanda University library were burned, they had so many manuscripts, like the books, right? It burned for almost, it reportedly burned for 3 months, continuously burn for 3 months. Oh my god, that is so touching, yeah. That's so sad, yeah. That's really sad. I feel emotional now. Alright, let's move on to Patliputra, the ancient capital. That's the topic, Patliputra, the ancient capital. We'll have some questions from this. Question is, which of the following rulers made Patliputra their capital? Select all correct, right? So which of the following rulers? Chandragupta Maurya definitely made Patliputra the capital. Then we had Ashoka the Great, and then we had no, not Harshavardhana. Harshavardhana did not make. Samudragupta did make Patliputra the capital. So Chandragupta Maurya, Ashoka the Great, and Samudragupta. That's your answer. 1, 2, and 3. Chandragupta Maurya 321 to 297 BCE made Patliputra the Mauryan capital, described by Greek ambassador Megasthenes. Megasthenes came during the period of Chandragupta. Described by Greek ambassador Megasthenes as one of the world's greatest cities. Greece was supposed to be advanced, but like when he described India as one of the most advanced, most world's greatest cities, he described Patliputra as the world's greatest cities. That is crazy. Ashoka the Great, that is after Chandragupta Maurya came Ashoka, 268 to 232 BCE, ruled from Patliputra and erected the famous Ashoka pillar. Yes, so he also ruled from Patliputra. Then Samudragupta, 335 to 375 CE. He was in the CE period. Gupta emperor who ruled from Patliputra during the Golden Age. Who was the ruler during the Golden Age? Samudragupta, right? Okay. Next we have Harshavardhana. He ruled from 606 to 647 CE, but he did not rule from Patliputra. Still, he ruled from Kannauj, Uttar Pradesh. Harshavardhana ruled from Kannauj, Uttar Pradesh. Okay. Patliputra remained a major political center for nearly 1,000 of years, from the Haryanka dynasty through the Gupta period. Next question. So this is like an analytical application question. Let's read the question and you will understand. Question number 10. The Greek ambassador Megasthenes described Patliputra as having wooden walls with 570 towers and 64 gates. What does this indicate about ancient Bihar? So ancient Bihar had abundant forest resources and advanced carpentry skills. So it says describe Patliputra as having wooden walls. Walls are made of wood, if they say, and they had gates, right? So of course wood is abundantly available. That's what it means. And also advanced carpentry skills. You need carpenters to work. Like people who work on woods are called carpenters, right? So that's your answer. Answer is A. They have given here ancient Bihar had abundant forest resources and advanced carpentry skills. Megasthenes' account of 300 BCE in his work Indica reveals resource availability. The Gangetic plains had dense forests providing timber. Then we had engineering expertise. The wooden fortifications were sophisticated with moats, watchtowers and defensive mechanisms. Urban planning. The city stretched 14 km along the Ganges, showing advanced city planning. Then we had economic prosperity. The use of wood doesn't indicate poverty. Stone structures like the Mauryan pillars prove stone working capability. The choice of wood was practical for the marshy terrain and demonstrated Bihar's engineering adaptability. Later stone structures like the Ashoka pillars showed mastery of both materials. Right, guys, I hope you are able to understand that. Let's move on to the next section. Cultural contribution. Cultural contribution is the question format is inference based. Question is the Pali language in which early Buddhist texts were written has its origin in which region? The Pali language. Buddhist texts, so guys, you get to know some facts along with the questions here. So the Pali language in which early Buddhist texts were written. So early Buddhist texts were written in Pali language. So you should know that. Has its origin in which region? So the region is Magadha region of Bihar. Okay, Magadha region of Bihar. The Pali language. The Pali language was originated in the Magadha region of Bihar. Pali language evolved from Magadhi Prakrit. Okay, so there was a language called Magadhi Prakrit from where the Pali language was evolved. It born like that as a child language. The common language spoken in ancient Magadha Bihar. Magadhi Prakrit was the common language spoken in ancient Magadha Bihar. Now key points are Buddha delivered his teaching in Magadhi Prakrit, not Sanskrit, to reach common people. Why did Buddha delivered his teaching in Magadhi Prakrit and not Sanskrit? To reach common people. That's the answer. To reach common people, because common people had no much knowledge of Sanskrit. So Buddha delivered his teaching in Magadhi Prakrit, right? After Buddha's death, the first Buddhist council at Rajgriha Bihar, this is known as Rajgir now, Rajgriha Bihar, compiled his teaching in Pali language. In the Buddhist council at Rajgriha, after his Buddha's death, his teachings were compiled in the Pali language. Pali became the liturgical language. I don't know what liturgical means. You can please Google it and find it. Pali became the literary language. It could be literary language, means like literature language of Theravada Buddhism. The Tripitaka Buddhist scriptures were written in all Pali language. The Tripitaka Buddhist scriptures, okay. The Tripitaka Buddhist scriptures were written in Pali language. This linguistic contribution from Bihar spread Buddhism across Asia as Pali texts were translated into Chinese, Tibetan and other languages. Right. I hope you understand, you got the points here. These are very important points. The language Pali, Prakrit, Pali, why it was used, Pali, why it became a liturgical language, right? Next, scenario based question, question number 12. A Chinese traveler visited India in the 7th century CE and spent several years at Nalanda University writing detailed accounts of Indian Buddhism and culture. Who was this traveler? So the traveler was named as Hyun Sang, right? Hyun Sang visited. Hyun Sang was a Chinese. He was also named as Zhuangzhang or Hyun Sang, right? Zhuangzhang 602 to 664 CE was Chinese Buddhist monk who visited India from 629 to 645 CE. During Emperor Harsha's reign, Harsha's reign, spent years at Nalanda University studying under Silabhadra. He also wrote great Tang records on the western regions, describing Nalanda's glory. Reported that Nalanda had 10,000 students and 1,500 teachers. So it was during this time Hyun Sang reported that Nalanda had 10,000 students and 1,500 teachers. Described the rigorous entrance examinations where only 20 to 30% of applicants were accepted. So guys, this is one interesting fact about the Nalanda University is that they had just like nowadays we have like entrance exams to get into the IITs and into other prestigious colleges. They also had these rigorous rigorous entrance examination where only about 20 to 30% of the total applicants were accepted. Took 657 Buddhist texts back to China, significantly influencing East Asian Buddhism. Now, this guy, right, Hyun Sang, right, Zhuanzang, he also known as Zhuanzang, Hyun Sang. He took 657 Buddhist texts back to China. So, it's like Chinese have learnt a lot of their culture has been influenced by the Buddhism, India, influenced by India. East Asian Buddhism. Other travelers were Fa Hien, visited during the 4th and the 5th century CE. 4th and the 5th century. He was one of the earlier visitors. I Sing visited in the 7th century, also visited Nalanda, but after Zhuanzang, right? Marco Polo, 13th century Italian, visited much later. Now, next section is archaeological and architectural heritage. Question number 13. Image or description based question. Question number 13. The Ashoka pillar at Vaishali has a lion capital. What does this symbolize? Buddha's teaching and royal patronage of Buddhism. It symbolizes Buddha's teaching and royal patronage of Buddhism. Explanation. The Ashoka pillars across Bihar and India symbolize lion capital. What does it mean? Represents Buddha's lion's roar, powerful teachings. Lion's roar is indeed powerful, right? It is indeed powerful. It's a powerful teaching. Lion's roar. Dhamma Chakra, the wheel of law or righteousness, right? The wheel of law or righteousness. Then we have the royal patronage, Ashoka's conversion to Buddhism after the Kalinga War. So Ashoka was converted to Buddhism after the Kalinga War. He saw so much of bloodshed, and his heart moved, and he never waged a war again after that. So there are edicts as in inscriptions promoting Buddhist values of non-violence, tolerance, and moral conduct. The Vaishali pillar specifically marks the site where Buddha announced his approaching Mahaparinirvana. The single lion capital, unlike Sarnath's 4 lions, faces north towards Kushinagar, where Buddha died. The single lion capital faces north towards Kushinagar, where Buddha died. Okay. Mahaparinirvana. So he attained enlightenment. He attained moksha. Question number 14. Statement correction. Question number 14. Identify the incorrect statement about ancient Bihar archaeological sites. Right? Incorrect statement. So there are the 4 statements given. I need to identify the incorrect statement. Now, incorrect statement is the so let's look at the statements and then we will identify which one is the incorrect one. Bodh Gaya is a UNESCO World Heritage Site. That is correct. That is a very correct statement. Now, Nalanda ruins were discovered by British archaeologist Alexander Cunningham. That is also correct statement. Then we have Vikramasila was located in present day Bhagalpur district. That is correct. That is Vikramasila University was located in the present day Bhagalpur district. Okay, that's a correct statement. Now the Mahabodhi temple was built by Emperor Ashoka. That is an incorrect statement. The current Mahabodhi temple was not built by Ashoka. The correct answer is Emperor Ashoka built a shrine at Bodh Gaya around 250 BCE, but the current Mahabodhi temple was built much later in the 5th to the 6th century CE during the Gupta period. Okay, that is your incorrect statement. The current Mahabodhi temple was not built by Ashoka. That is an incorrect statement. Other statements like Bodh Gaya became a UNESCO World Heritage Site in 2002. That's correct. Alexander Cunningham discovered Nalanda ruins in 1861 to 1862. That's correct also. Vikramashila ruins are in Bhagalpur district. In the Bhagalpur district, Antichak village. Okay. So that's a statement correction. So they give you four statements, and you have to tell which one is correct, which one is not correct, ideally. Next is section 7, socio-political systems. This is question is format is conceptual understanding. The question is, the Vajji Confederacy with its capital at Vaishali is significant in Indian history because the Vajji Confederacy with its capital at Vaishali is significant in Indian history because it represented an early form of republican governance. Right. So the Vajji or Vrijji, okay, the Vajji or Vrijji Confederacy was a Mahajanapada that practiced Gana Sangha, republican governance, right? Gana Sangha, republican governance. The Vajji, or also known as Vrijji Confederacy, was a Mahajanapada that practiced Gana Sangha or republican. In Hindi, Gana Sangha, or I mean in traditional language, Gana Sangha, and which means a republican governance. Key features of this Gana Sangha were democratic assembly, decisions made by elected representative, Gana Mukhyas, right? And no hereditary monarchy, leaders chosen based on merit. No hereditary. Okay. Federal structure, 8 clans including the Licchavis formed the confederacy. 8 clans including the Licchavis formed the confederacy. Capital was at Vaishali in present day Bihar. Time period is 6th century BCE. What are the historical significance? Buddha praised their democratic system. This was the historical significant point is Buddha praised their democratic system, influenced later Indian political thought, eventually absorbed by Magadha under Ajat-Satru. Absorbed by Magadha and under Ajat-Satru, represents one of world's earliest republics contemporary with ancient Greece. It represents one of the world's earliest republic. Okay. Republic is like a democratic country where people are like, the leaders are elected based on merit and not based on hereditary. Like the kings are and the things. King's ka son is a king. Then these are hereditary. Okay, hereditary means the acquired from the ancestors, from the fathers. But here the republican government where leaders were elected based on the merit and elections, right? Question number section 8, economic and trade significance. Economic and trade significance. Now data interpretation. The question format is data interpretation. Ancient Patliputra's location at the confluence of river Gangas. Confluence means like intersection, right? Confluence of river Gangas and Son, Ganga and Son, made it strategically important for what? So we have one is agricultural prosperity. Yes, that is very true. Because agricultural prosperity, fertile alluvial soil from river deposits supported intensive agriculture, creating food surplus. So where there is lot of agriculture, of course there is going to be food surplus. Next is trade and commerce. Rivers served as highways for transporting goods. Trade and commerce. You know, in ancient times, ships were the most common used mode of transportation for longer distances. So trade and commerce, where rivers served as the highways for transporting goods. Patliputra became a major trade hub connecting eastern and northern India. Okay. Now military defense. Rivers provided natural moats. Controlling river crossings meant controlling trade and military movements. That's also true. River confluence of river Ganga and Son made it strategically important for agriculture prosperity, trade and commerce, military defense, and the last one is religious pilgrimages. Located on routes connecting Buddhist sites like Bodh Gaya, Nalanda, and Vaisali, this strategic location made Patliputra the political and economic center of India for nearly a millennium. Millennium is 1,000 years, right? The strategic location, that's very important. Next, we have some exam preparation tips for BPSC 2023. Key topics to focus on are like dynasties. You can focus on Haryanka dynasty. Then you have Shishungnaga, Nanda, Maurya, Gupta, Pala dynasties. These are the important dynasties. Then we have religious history. Most important, Buddhism and Jainism. They were born in Bihar, so they are important. Jainism origins and how did it spread. Next, we have educational institutions like Nalanda, Vikramashila, and Odantapuri. Don't forget one important one, Odantapuri. That's also an educational institution. Archaeological sites like Bodh Gaya, Rajgir, Vaisali, Patna. Cultural contribution, Pali literature, art, architecture. You need to read about those. Foreign travelers account, Megasthenes, Fahen, Xuanzang is Yunsang, okay, and I Sing. Megasthenes came during the time of whom? Maurya, Chandragupta Maurya, Megasthenes, yeah, I think. Question pattern analysis is factual. Okay, important dates. Let's look at some important dates to remember. In a chronological order, we will look at it. 599 BC, birth of Mahavira at Vaisali. Mahavira came first. Okay, Mahavira came first and 599 BC, almost about 600 years before the birth of Christ. Okay. Then 563 BC, birth of Buddha. So after like about 30 years of Mahavira, 563 BCE, Buddha was born. 528 BCE, Buddha's enlightenment at Bodh Gaya. 528 BCE. 483 BCE, first Buddhist council at Rajgriha. 483 BCE. 321 BCE, Chandragupta Maurya establishes Mauryan Empire. 321 years before Christ, Chandragupta Maurya establishes Mauryan Empire. 268 BCE, Ashoka becomes emperor. 427 CE, this is after Christ was born. 427 CE, Nalanda University established. 783 years, Vikramashila University established. And 1193 CE, 1193 CE, destruction of Nalanda by Bakhtiyar Khilji. So these are the important questions from prelims point of views. These are like, we went through how many questions? 16 questions. uh, all right guys, thank you so much. Next time we will look at some mains questions from these sections, and until then, take care, bye bye.